Today we're going to do a little bit of pattern work, but pattern work that you will love, that everyone will love. You will have all the answers you need. No more questions on armholes and sleeves. I'm just going to bring the camera a little bit closer so all you see is what I'm doing, and you can really get this and really understand it and apply it. That's even more important. So let's bring the camera a little bit closer. Our goal here today is to end this constant problem of armholes and sleeves, because so many times when we sew, we try it on before we put the sleeves in, it's fine, but once we put those sleeves in, it's not okay. We're going to fix this. And it's very easy, so if you can just wipe out all your information that you have on armholes and sleeves, you'll do really, really well. I start with the sleeve, and the reason I say to you, go shopping, find a sleeve you like, is because it's just simpler to do it that way. To trial and error takes more time. That's the only reason. So if you want to trial and error, it's your deal. But I'm just trying to get you to the right answer the shortest amount of time, however we can. So I'm taking a sleeve that I love the sleeve, and I measure it. And you can see I'm measuring it right at the stripe because that's the widest point of the sleeve. And when I do that, that measures 5.5. So 11 is what I know is the circumference. 5.5 doubled is 11. So I'm going to go to a knit pattern, and in our sweater set is the great base. I'm going to find the sleeve then that measures 11. So I'm going to lay it down. Boom. It's this size. So there's my sleeve. And then I take the armhole that goes with it. And there's my armhole. Now keep in mind, we have 8 sleeves in every pattern. You're going to find a sleeve that works for you. So not worry about that. So now I found the armhole size-wise that sleeve goes with this armhole. I'm good to go. I make a template of this armhole, which I've done. And a template, you can just see, I've traced the line, I've made it a little wider, and I've made it so I can literally travel with this, and I'm good to go. I can put this on any pattern and use this. So let's just say I make one up, and this seems to be too low. The armhole itself seems to be larger than I want. Remember, I picked it out by the circumference, but now making it up, this seems to be too low. I can shorten it through here. I can just take an amount off. That will bring the armhole up. Now, everything I'm showing you is the front. You do the exact same to the back. Our armholes start off by being the same, but it doesn't mean you'll leave them that way. Sometimes with a forward shoulder, the armhole in the front becomes shorter, the back becomes longer. Sometimes with a slanted shoulder, it changes. It doesn't have to change. It doesn't matter. That's what I want you. I know some of you just are so certain of kind of what you think or what you believe, and that's fine. I'm not here to change it. I'm here to just how you can get it to where you don't have to go through this issue every single time you sew. So let's say I decide to raise up the armhole. I like the circumference, but the armhole feels too low. I'm going to shorten it through here or shorten it to the top. It doesn't matter. I can take this off. When I do that, I, at the same time, should shorten the cap height. That's right through there, right through the cap. And whatever amount I take this down, I'm going to say a 1/2 inch. It's a 1/2 inch in the front and a 1/2 inch in the back. That makes the whole armhole 1 inch smaller. That's a lot. So be very careful as to what you think you want. And that's why, to have something to measure is better. But I get that some of you don't. So I'm going to take off a 1/2 inch here. This would be a 1/4 because the 2/4 equal the 1/2 and the 2/4 equal the 1/2. So you get a 1/2 inch off the front, a 1/2 inch on the back, and then a 1/4 tucked through the cap. Notice when I do this, I just redraw these lines. Use your French curve, and when you do that, you're going to split the difference between the two. Notice that I'm gaining here and losing here, and that's the right position. Just put that French curve down until it follows that cap really nicely. And notice that I've got a new cap now. It's a shorter cap height with a more shallow armhole, and that's exactly right. And I've still got the circumference that I started with on my initial sleeve. But again, be careful by how much you take away, because small armholes, although we say, oh, I want small armholes, because we don't assign inches to them, small armholes are terrible. Small armholes mean a lot less mobility. But again, let's stop calling them small and large. Let's put a number to them and let's, call them what they are. For instance, this armhole here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is an 18-inch armhole. And for a knit armhole, that's a nice size. Smaller than that gets more difficult. Okay, so now I get my sleeve. I know how to pick that. I get the armhole that goes with it. If I want to change it, I get that. Now I want to apply it to another pattern. And this should be the end. There should be no more issues after this because I can do the same with my jacket, with my blouse, and with my knit. This I'm using as a knit. This is my knit armhole, and I've written on there t-shirt. It should be knit, but you understand what I did. I wrote on there and I put on shoulder and side just to kind of clarify which one goes where. I hate for you to turn it upside down. Not that you would, but you know what I'm saying. Okay, so now I come to a blouse. And what I'm using is Craig's blouse, and it's the pattern of the month. So what I want you to understand is I made this out of a knit. And when you do that, you go to a smaller circumference, and then you want to change the armhole. Because if you do a larger sleeve circumference and a larger armhole, not only will it look silly, it won't feel good. It just really won't feel good. So I take my armhole now and I put it at the shoulder seam, or I can put it narrower if I decide to cut it a little bit narrower, which is often what I do because a t-shirt is going to come narrower across my shoulders than a blouse. So I put it a little bit narrower, and I say little bit, I use a 1/2 inch. But again, this is me. This is what I found I like. You guys can do what you want. So that's the first place I put it. And if you notice then, I swing it out to the circumference I'm using. Now again, because this is a woven, I most likely wouldn't swing it out all the way to here. Those are variables. If I'm doing a cowl neck, I would use the same for circumference, because with a cowl, you don't want less circumference because you won't get a cowl. You don't want negative ease in a cowl. You don't want those things together, even if you're using knit fabric. But in this case, because I want a little less circumference, I could bring it in a little bit. And if you notice, the shoulder point is always the first place to put it. If here at the side seam, it's a little bit shy, I'm going to just bring the side seam in a little bit down to the waist. If for whatever reason I decided to bring it all the way out to the same side circumference, I would just extend the side seam up to this point and draw on my new armhole. I have to make no changes to my sleeve because this is the armhole that sleeve fits into, and I'm on down the road. So the shoulder seam is the right point and the side seam is the right point. And only time, usually what I'll find is that this side seam on a woven is going to be lower because the armhole is larger. So I'll just bring it in, I'll extend the side seam up and draw the armhole, and I'm good to go. And again, do it in the front, do it in the back just the same. I only have to fix this problem one time. I have my templates made, and this is my little template. It's just out of cardboard. All right, we put that down, and then you can see that I'm there to do that same thing over and over. It's a very simple process. I should have templates available to me. I want to have a sleeveless, a knit, a woven, and of course a jacket. My t-shirt and my sleeveless are the same. But I'm tall. Some of you are not. You can't do this because the armhole gets to be too low and gets into where your bra shows. But I do have, so I have only 3 armholes, but technically there's a sleeveless, the t-shirt, the blouse, and the jacket. And then you'll have the 3 sleeves that go with. And again, every time you're ready to do this, you can put this on anything now. And some of you have said, oh, these patterns are too wide for me. Not ours, others. But anyway, so I can narrow the point. I can put it here and here. All this has to do is have 2 points that connect. That's all the armhole does, and I can put it down. And by now, I know these light bulbs have completely turned on to bright, and I'm excited to do that for you. Remember, it starts with the sleeve. Measuring the sleeve, the circumference that you like, taking the armhole that goes with it. If I have to, I can shorten the cap height. I can shorten the sleeve as well. Then I can get exactly what I want, and then I can place that on anything. That's our goal. So from all of us at Silhouette Patterns, happy sewing!